Peace and happy new year, soul fam. Adam Jackson here with another episode of the Sacred Sons podcast. Welcoming in 2022. Sending gratitude for everything that happened in the year 2021. Both convergences 5 and 6 were off the hook, largely in part to today's guest. Today we're going to be talking to my brother Kale Ka'alekahi from the island of Maui. And so we're going to be dropping into some of these spiritual practices, some of the teaching, some of the energy that we are meeting this new year with. And so with that, our guest today, he's a spiritual activist. He's a cultural innovator. And he's the Sacred Sons leader of Eagle Clan. Chet.
Chet.
Please welcome my brother, Kale Ka'alekahi.
Hey, aloha everyone.
Aloha,
Good to
Kale.
be here with you, Adam.
Yeah, bro, it's good to see you. We spent a lot of time together last year. Now we're back to Zoom calls.
I know. It's great though. Like just the amount of time that we did get to share with each other and all the experiences. I got to mature a lot with you. Yeah. And just to witness you too and all of that and like learning and yeah, you have baby come in and all of that. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing to be connected on our individual journeys and to do this in brotherhood. Like we're really about it.
Yeah, we are.
You know, the first time we talked, and if you want to listen to Kale and I's original conversation, go back to Sacred Sons podcast, episode 28, Songs of Our Ancestors.
Yeah.
But like now we're deep in it, bro.
Yeah, dude.
We're like in this for life now.
We are. We've already shared songs. We've already shared ceremonies. Our individual, visions like conspired together.
Yes.
And then made the big V vision. I listened to yours and Darren's podcast too. It was dope. I loved it. Thanks for a little shout out to you guys. You guys brought a lot of beautiful conversation. The big V,
man.
V.
I love that. I love how your wisdom, your knowledge, your teachings have become an integral part of the culture of Sacred Sons.
Yeah.
Internally, we call you our director of cultural innovation. What do we call you?
I think you guys call me the Dice Man, director of intercultural emergence.
and it's important because we need that. We need that intercultural emergence. We need the ability to bring in the old ways as we are creating the new. And that's how I see you. I love you for many reasons. And one of them is for all of those ways that you bring that wisdom into our community. So with that, we're going to drop into all things ancient, future, new blood, old souls today on this podcast. And before we do, let's go ahead and take a deep breath for ourselves. Scanning the body, feeling what is alive and present. Kale, in this new year, in this new beginning, what is most alive within you?
Man, what's alive in me, brother? Right now, just to be honest and clear, is death. Dying, little deaths. It's interesting just about the experience that I've been having in my personal life with relationships. Not that I'm like severing them, just there's things of the relationship that have had to die in order for something to be composted so another part of the relationship can live. And I'm discovering that for myself too, in this time with holidays of like, once I was amongst my family as a child, and now I'm a man and they're not around me. I have my brothers now, and I've had to die to a lot of those things during this time of maturing and being seasoned and coming into new seasons and what is necessary for us as a collective, as a community, as a tribe, as a brotherhood, however it may be. And not just the brothers, the women too, the sisters as well. and for the children. And I think, I've chosen, I've been chosen and I've chosen. Both of those are real, to step into this in this way and to know myself in these ways. And this is my work. This is my soul project, to contribute to the collective. So as long as I pursue that, there will be little deaths. And I'm happy about that. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm proud. Like, I feel like an adult, like a matured adult. I do.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Took a while. Even through all the ceremonies that I've been a part of and been fortunate to have teachers in my life and have really good examples. It took me a while to become a fully fledged, adult. And even saying that sounds kind of weird, because I know there's so much more that I don't know, which is so important too. I'm almost like, once things are too good at times, I feel like I have to get uncomfortable. Like I'm missing something. Not that I can't just be, but you and I share in this, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't mean to speak for you, but it's like, I feel that with you. Like, we'll be doing things and you'll be like, and then look at this. And then there's also this other vision and this one's coming through too. And you know what we're up to over here? And I'm like, yes, dude, I get it. Like, yes, totally. I follow. So yeah, just little deaths.
Beautiful.
Thank you, bro.
Adam Jackson checking in. I'm gonna bring a little life to that death, but I'm gonna build on what you said, because this has been coming up in my home as well. Like we're welcoming in our son with Hannah. This is our second son. For me, this is my third son. As I'm a part of a co-parenting family, and so with Hannah, she was kind of grieving the loss of being a mother to just one, because now she's going to be a mother to two. So there's an aspect of her relationship with Holland where she's giving him all of her love and attention, and now it's going to be divided into two. And so what you're talking about with these little deaths is that in order for there to be life, we have to acknowledge and sometimes grieve and sometimes celebrate these little deaths, the death of the relationships, the death of who we were yesterday, so that we can become who we are to become. And so I'm present to the little death, and I'm more present to life over here as we're bringing in this new life, welcoming, setting up, celebrating. We have an altar. We're preparing for a home birth, which is it's a reclamation as well of that, reclaiming the birth, bringing the birth back home, with safety and support, and the women, and we have a couple of midwives, joining us.
So important.
Yeah, so I'm present to all of that, and then also that it's just everything that it takes. There's so much that goes into our little lives.
Yeah.
And specifically this portal that I'm in, let me just give some gratitude to all the mothers. Period.
Definitely.
Because listen, we just went out of a year into another year. This is a new birth from the Great Mother. Okay. But thank you to all the mothers birthing these children, these children who are coming in right now. We are here for them. We are praying for them. And so with that, my prayers are with all of you out there who may be bringing in children, and for my family, and we'll take all the prayers we can get. With that, I am in. Thank you. Kale, I think last time we talked a lot about spiritual activism and some of the cultural innovation pieces, but right now I want to shift it to the physical, because I see what you guys are up to over here in Maui. You got the gym, you got the kettlebells, you got the ice bath, you got morning workouts. What's up with you, like physically? I feel like I'm witnessing in you like this. We joked about it, like the gods of war awakening in you. So what's up, bro? What's up with the physical?
What's up, man? Well, that's what's up. So here we are with the physical. That's the word. Yeah, brother. It's just been a deeper exploration, I've been sensing for myself that it's time to turn that back on. Like you're saying, the gods of war. Um, I've been in relationship to fitness and health that was about achievement that was selfish, kind of like self-centered. Yeah. Like if I can do this, then I'll be able to be a better competitor and I can beat somebody. Or if I do this, then I will look better than that guy. And that's how I functioned for a while. And now I'm coming back into it of like, oh, because of what we do with the work with Sacred Sons, we can actually come into ritual combat and sacred combat and enhance the life force of another man, And I just want to be able to hold that capacity for what's being asked of me, to cross to another threshold, to set another standard for myself, to address commitments to myself, because I've been committed to this work, for the past year. And I just recommitted again. And so I'm like, now I need to step in fully to be ready for that. And that takes my embodiment. And it's not about being bigger, faster, or stronger. It's about discipline, self-discipline, and about caring enough that the concern is there for you to be motivated and inspired. And so that communication is like with another deity. I'm in the realm of the gods in here, and different ones are showing me. They're like, hey, time to go suffer a little bit in that cold plunge, because it's good for you, and you'll forge the metal of your body. And now you need to go over here and carry this sandbag. It's 200 pounds. And while you're doing that, you think about the brother. You think about the brother that you're going to be carrying. Can you carry him through the hard times? Can you carry him when his life is in danger? Can you take care of his children? That's my prayer. So I want my physical presence to be witnessed as an embodiment of spirituality and prayer. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this brother isn't just a muscle meathead. This brother is a spiritual tool. Like, he is the tool for creator. And he's been fashioned this way because they told him to. And every time I expended energy, it was to pray for people and places and things. So like when you feel that tension, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like when it hurts, and I'm like, can't do another one, but I can. Why? Because Adam's having a baby soon. And he needs to feel me right now. He needs to know, like, I got him and his kids and his family. I'm gonna take care of them too. Like that.
Yeah. I love that. I love that so much, because there's so much work right now happening with total human optimization.
Yeah.
And like, we're going to be, big, and we're going to get swole, and maybe there's a little steroids mixed in. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe
but what is it for? What is it for out there? You know what I mean? And like in the culture as it stands right now, there seems to be a lack between the spiritual and the physical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
like, and how you're kind of prefacing that you're self-motivated by the prayers for others.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's a powerful concept.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, bro, because it's not a concept, right? Like, it's actually done. Like, you do it, right? So like for others, because they're listening to us, like it's conceptual. But once it becomes a practice and it lives in you, it's embodied. And that's my route, is embodied spirituality. So we've gotten to this idea, especially because things are rational. We're in a rational mind. So therefore, we imagine that if this thing is happening and the greatest efficiency or efficacy or route of it, that's rational. So rational means non-emotional. So when we take spirituality, we're doing the same thing. We're saying we're trying to transcend above the human nature and human emotion to be more rational, even though people aren't saying that. They're more logic, more rational. When I'm free of my emotions, therefore I'll get everything and I'll understand it. And I think that is so far from what's being asked of us, really. Because if that worked, we wouldn't have environmental degradation. Colonization wouldn't have happened. Like the separatism, like objectification, like objectification, objectifying. Yes.
Yeah.
Or like being a passive observer. That's not true. Because you witnessed the thing, you've automatically changed it because you're coming with your own projection of it. So saying that I've come from an objective place, like I'm free of that, is a fallacy. it's another form of separation. It feeds into the illusion. Just like saying it's subjective. Not that it's not happening. You can have a subjective experience, but as soon as you do that, you say, this is for me. It's my personal thing. It's my personal truth. So now you've separated once again. You said, well, then I can't reach for you because it's only about you. It's very individualistic. So yeah, so that's why I see spirituality has been hijacked by the rational, logical mind. And like, we're not Vulcans, we're human beings. Like, we're earthlings, like, we're not robots, you know? You want to be a robot? Just admit it. Like, don't say this is where we're headed as human evolution. That's not true.
I think like, you know, guys like Elon, they're telling us exactly who they are. They're like, yo, I want to build electric machines and go to Mars. Like, cool. Well, then that's him being who he is.
Yeah,
but
go on your journey, brother.
That's not what we all are.
Exactly.
And there's many of us that come from the mud and the dirt and the soil.
Yes.
Right. And we have to maintain our relationship to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I hear you, you know, I've spoken about decolonization on this podcast a couple times recently. And so you're coming from a different place, which is called re-indigenization. So what does it mean to re-indigenize? And before we like take it to the globally, like what does that mean on an individual level to re-indigenize?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing because let's just take it to the individual level, and I'll just speak to my own personal experience. You know, I'm a mixed blood. You know, I have ancestry that come from the European continent, that as we call it. I have ancestry from Polynesia. I have ancestry from the Native American continent, Turtle Island. I have all the, so I'm mixed, and Southeast Asian. You know, and these are all labels and concepts, right? To me, but then I choose to live through them. And when I do that, what I'm saying is, I need to know my place in the bigger story. Removing myself of the modern trapments of comforts and conveniences and instant gratification and finding the quickest route there, I was like, this is not what is needed right now, because I am of these people, of these places, and they were claimed by these places because they chose to not go this route that modern society is. They chose to be in the dirt. They chose to be with the trees and with the plants, and to watch and observe and to track and to pay attention outside of themselves to see who they needed to be. It's like when you see, you know, when you see the deer walking, like, and then make certain sound from the grass hitting its belly. There's a name, they give a name for that. You know, so it gives you time and place and location and experience. And because now you know, oh, it was during the fall time that the deer now, you know, is getting fat, getting ready for winter, you know, trying to feed themselves. So then you look at it as a human, like, oh, if that's what they're doing, how do I know what to do? I watch and I observe, and then I participate. You're always participating. No passive observing. No objectifying or subjective. It's deeply relational, deeply relational. And the same thing goes for the wolf. If there is no wolf for this deer, then the deer just runs amok, just does whatever it needs to do, because it's just being a deer. But the deer knows its days and knows its limits because there is a wolf, and the wolf learns how to be a wolf because of that deer. So what are we doing as human beings? Well, re-indigenization. We need to come back into the place with the elements as the main archetypes, with our ability to sit in nature and be okay with their thoughts, and be okay with dying. You know, not just okay, but have a relationship. Yeah. And that's re-indigenization. So just to bring it a little closer. So what I've chose to do is look at things like Sweat Lodge, you know, look at the sacred fire. Why is it a sacred fire? Well, because, one thing we all agreed, you know, we all decided, hey, this is what we're going to do today. But it's also a ritual. It's asking for a change. Something will be changed. And that fire is different from any other fire, because now it's going to be in service to the mother, for us to be closer back into the womb of that enipi. And then that's the ceremony. That's the confirmation of us, the declaration of us as a people to come into the womb again, to be nurtured by the elements, the water, the air, the fire, the earth. That to me is a re-indigenization. Yeah. Choosing to be that, to make the time, to feel the stress of the thing, like and to not run away from it, and to grieve too. Very powerful. So to me, that's re-indigenization and a personal level. And then we can talk big scheme too, but it's a good thing.
I want to come back to these elements.
Yeah. Because
I think it's important to kind of just break it down, because we're in this new time, new year, new me reset. Let's talk about the elements, because when we light that sacred fire, there's also an acknowledgement that this fire is the same fire that's existed for our people for 300,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same fire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's truth.
Yes.
For me, this is truth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
me too. Time tested.
And the water holding the memory, and the wind, and, you know, the soil, the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of wisdom could you impart just around the elements for the brothers and sisters who may be listening in your way?
Yeah, I am grateful and very privileged to have little moments of stepping into that river of wisdom that I can actually have a little cup of water to give to the other guy on the side of the bank there that's been thirsty, you know. So I'm lucky enough to do that. And just to talk about these elements too. So we have Iao. Love Iao. We open up ceremony at Iao. Yeah. Is a word for creator. Ao is a word for light or cloud. So it says, you know, in one poetic way, like, this is the valley of creator's light, or this is the valley of all creation, you know. And so that in the name is a re-indigenization of understanding, like, what a valley, what a river is. Because now you're not just at any river or valley, you're at the one that creator's light is shining upon. And so then now you have to show up for that. You got to be present for that and make that real. And that's elemental. And that's memory. Like, the water is memory. Like you were saying, it's the fire from 3,000 years ago. This is the same water since time began, since the heavens and the earth were made into the dual consciousness of divine conspiracy. So now they're scheming together, and they're like, let's make rain, you know, let's do this, let's grow this now. And then you explode so that something else will be upheaval. And then now we have this. So yeah, elemental archetype. What is the water of your memory? What is the mound of water within your own body that continues to generate for you? We call it a heart. You know,
Pukavai.
The Pukavai, exactly, a Pukavai. So it's like, yeah, so that is your mound of water. So these things are all in us. They're around us. We are of the dirt. We just give them different names because we chose to separate ourselves from it. Once we take the spirit out of the elements, then we've taken the spirit out of ourselves, plain and simple. As soon as we start to reduce them to matter of like protons and electrons and periodic table, and we assigning them symbols, and we think that we figured it out, how dare us? How dare we think as human beings that we got the whole universe figured out because we put some symbols on a whiteboard? Right. You know how preposterous that sounds? I'm just like, you're a human. Like, you don't matter here. You know what I mean? Like, you matter, but you don't. Like, you're special, not special. Like, there's something beautiful that we contribute when we tap into the elements of ourselves and we really, you know, embody that. But then there's also a thing too of like recognizing how, if we were gone, the world would still thrive. If we weren't around, everybody else would still be doing good. It's like, we are because they are. Like, they all came before us, all the creation stories, they all came before us, and they gave us the invitation. They're like, come on in, you guys. Like, it's beautiful here. I know you've been out there traveling with your souls, giving that star scream because you had no place to land. Well, look what we made for you. And now come into this life in this beautiful human body and do something, cultivate something with these elements. It's all gifts.
And so what are you cultivating with these elements and with your life. So there's kind of a concept that this life is the training ground for our spiritual being.
Yes.
To come in, to get some lessons and to upgrade. What's your kind of take on it?
Yeah. Beautiful. I think there's a soul project that each of us is given that is uniquely for us. We were brought into this world. You know, sometimes our greatest pain is our greatest gift. And I don't mean to bypass anyone or say like, you know, it's your fault, because I'm not. I'm just saying that there are things that have happened in our life that when we're able to traverse them in a way that we find the gift in it, not just the silver lining, but taking all of it, you know, not just the cream on the top, take the diluted stuff too. And it transmutes itself. It's an alchemical thing that then becomes relatable and relevant for others, because we're always in relationship as human beings. So that's what I'm creating in my life with these elements, is when I do have a fire and I call it a ceremony, who's it for and why? If we do go to the river, who's it for and why? Like, who am I? Where am I going? Why am I here? Who, you know, these are old questions that are being asked of us from our primal ancestry since the beginning. So yes, are we here as a training ground? Yeah. Yes, it's a training ground. And it's your life. There is no afterlife. This is the life. You know, this is the life you have been given. So it's not make the most out of it. It's not about optimization, like you were saying earlier. It's not, no, we're not optimizing nothing. We're deeply feeling everything.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's inherent. Yeah. We're moving towards the inner self so much that the outer cannot help but recognize us. You cannot help but look at us. Like when you're in the middle, you know, and you have that feeling. I've been here before, right? I've led people like this at another time in a different way. It doesn't matter if it was the future or the past. The ancient future is here and now.
That's right.
I see it in you, and you are living it. You cannot help but witness you. That is the mark of a person that understands themselves internally, right? That love of themselves within is so expansive and burning so bright. It's like we're just sparks on the earth. But when you have enough of that inside of you, that cinder just lights everybody else up. And that's a sacred fire, bro. Yes. That's a sacred fire. And then when we start talking and we start sharing our stories, that's the air. We're bending the air. And then it comes into you. And then now your blood's flowing and you're receiving all this. It's the waters of memory. So that's what I'm doing. I just see it so clearly. And not everybody can see that at the same time. And that's okay, because I know what my soul project is. I know my vision. And I'm in service to that and to people. And I'm human too. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect, and I don't try to be. I just know that as long as I'm here, you're going to feel me. And you're going to know that I was here. Not out of my own ego, but because I want that for you too. Like I want you to, like it's my prayer for you. Yeah. Just to wake people up, man. It's the emergent culture of awakening, right?
Yeah.
That's what's up. Like I can't do it by myself. I need everybody to find their soul project as well. And if I can guide them towards it or just play a little part in it, perfect. But as long as we're all able to pursue it, then that cultural emergence will come. It's the psycho-spiritual, pursuit. We're all conspiring together. That's why I like conspire. Sorry, this will just hit too. Is like called to be with, inspirare, spirit. Like when you're conspiring, it's not a malicious act. It's actually like you're doing things in the unseen, like behind the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz or something. And everybody else is starting to flow, to spiral with it. Yeah. So like it's not that grand of a conspiracy, or is it? It's kind of cool.
I mean, even that word conspiracy, it's been so hijacked and maligned, and it's
exactly.
We have all of our souls have conspired to be here.
Yes.
So there's it's not about good, bad. light, dark, positive, negative. It's not
No.
about the duality. It's about the reality. And you mentioned this word awakening.
Yeah.
Man, there's so much going on with wokeness and woke culture.
Yeah.
You know, and clearly, like, to rise and to wake, Eala E, you know, like, this is a great metaphor for us. But also this concept of awakening is starting to become hijacked and diluted. And that so what does it mean that we are reawakening and that the ancient future is at hand?
I love you so much.
It's big stuff. It's important stuff.
It is. It really is.
Because it's where this is heading.
Yeah, it's where it's heading. And so, yeah, when I think of that, I can only speak upon, because seriously, the ancient future, it is a time and a place. It is a location. And it's being carried by different people when they know it, right? And it's not just like, oh, because I talk about it, therefore I am it. You see, it's that construct of separatism. It's like you can recognize it in another person because of the behavior, because of the meaningfulness, because of the action that is taking place. Like, whether you like it or not, you know, this is material. This isn't going anywhere. This is the thing that we need to understand and to learn, because when we give ourselves to the presence of the ancient future, what we're saying is there is neither a past life going on or a future life going on. All of that is going on right now. It's all in a head-on conspiracy together, neither good or bad, right or wrong. It's just the possibilities and the consequences of your ability to have the capacity and the competency to do, because you are responsible for it. That's the beautiful burden. So when I think of it like awakening and being woke, it's like, what is your presence giving to the world? What kind of a presence do you offer? If I say that I'm going to go do something, I'm going to go do it. Because if I don't, what do I have? You know, I could easily get lost if I just decided that what I say doesn't matter. That's simple. If I was just to think to myself that, oh, I can tell Adam this, but it really doesn't matter. I'm just saying whatever bullshit that comes to my head. Then there's no meaning. There's no purpose. There's no desire, right? Desire, this beautiful word, to look to the stars, right? To wait for the stars. Thereof, sere, stars. It's like your desire is because something outside of you is guiding you to it. So I think of it like a spider web. Like, I see the threads of relationship that are connected, and I see the anchor points. My anchor points are the things that I say, like, this is valuable to me. These are non-negotiables. This is a part of my core, of my essence. And then I create the relationships, the different threads of the web through the people that I love, to those that are acquaintances, to my home, to my place, my mountain, my river, you know, not claiming them, but that's my relationship to the connection. And I'm just a little spider on there, tending to all of them. Yeah. Tending to all of it. That to me is being woke, like, truly. Like, never mind that word. Find an indigenous word. Allah, 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 to arise, to awaken. The path is set before you. Over there, the generative power, which we call the sun, is there in the east. Hikina, the arrival, has come upon us. It is also speaking to our awakening from our little death of sleep. That now we are awake, conscious in the world. We have light in our eyes, like two candles sitting outside of a window, inviting stranger to come in. That is Eala E. Awaken and arise, give your presence. For you have the light of the sun in you. You are a sacred son. Go and live and be. Like, it's really simple to me, but it's really hard for a lot of us because of things like conditions. But that's the ancient future. That chat's so old.
How old is it, do you think?
I don't know.
Can you give us Eala E for my brothers and sisters who may be listening, who've never heard Eala E, especially coming from you?
Yeah. So
I want that new ancient future version.
I know what you're talking about. So we're gonna do it like that. So we have I love you so much, man. I'm so grateful for you. Okay, here we go.
You know, how's that fucking Tacoma? We doing good over
Dude,
there?
you guys are
You good?
so good, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys are, yeah, just so much, man. I love you too. Love you too. And yeah, we're gonna keep on showing up for this, brother. That's what we have. You know?
We're gonna keep showing up for each other, truly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what this is, the reciprocity. This is, we're practicing what we preach, even though we're not really fucking preaching.
No.
We're being, and we're gonna practice what we be, you know?
Yeah. So remember who we be. Yes, so let's go into it like this, because this is an old chant. I don't know how old it is, but there's a traditional way that I was taught, and many people know it this way. So I'll go over it simply like this. E ala e ka'alekahi kina I ka moana ho honu pi I ka leva nu'u I ka hikina ai akala e ala e. So that is a certain melody and rhythm that has been taught for a long time. So many people from different cultural schools still know that chant. It's a Noah chant, a free chant. It's a chant that most people learn when they start getting involved with the culture. Now, my route with this is the chant and the story lives in me. My interpretation of my experience and my reality is based upon the chants and the stories, because they are codes, they're blueprints. You have to see the layers of meaning in order to step into channeling. In order to be a channel, you have to sacrifice yourself. Like Kale doesn't exist. Like that's a real thing. Like, yes, I exist and I don't, because as soon as my ego, as we like to call it, I just call it myself. Like once that is put to the side, then something else comes through. So the traditional way of saying e ala e is allowing for another channel to come through for people.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out here that this is a song, and a song is one of the greatest examples of living ancestors that we have. And so when you're saying like this chant's coming through and I'm not Kale, because this chant is being channeled from the people who came before that brought it into your awareness. So how could this be about you? It's kind of how I'm experiencing it.
Totally.
And that's important. That's an important concept. If everyone can just kind of think about a song that they learned. I always reference Bob Marley songs, you know,
of course.
Easy, One Love, you know, everyone's singing that right now, and they'll be singing it in 1,000 years. 1,000 years from now, that song will still be sung. And it wasn't even about Bob. It's about all of those voices that brought through that same frequency, that same loving energy of oneness. Every time it's sang, every time it's sung. You know what I'm saying?
I totally know what you're saying, bro. It's the song. It's like it's become an ancestral song, of love, right? But it's when it's being spoken or sang, it's a prayer too. It's an invocation for something to change. We're like invoking one love to go across the globe. Like how beautiful is that? And the same with songs like Yala A. You know, when they live inside of you, you start to behave like they do. It changes. That's the real embodiment. It's physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, all of it coalesced into one body of the vessel, which is the channel. We all have that gift. Like Bob Marley's gift, you know, he found his soul project. He followed his visions. He did his thing. As a human being is a different story, but as an artist, to do what he did and accomplish that, I mean, it's not even about accomplishment, but just to bring it to fruition. That is a channel. That is a true medium for his guides and his ancestors speak through him. So this thing of Eala E too is about that. Awaken and arise. Come and walk the path of the visionary. Now you have choices every day to make because you have come from a deep slumber down in the depths of the ocean. Kamawana hohonu, Pi'i Kaleva. Now you're climbing to the heavens. And why the heavens? And not necessarily, oh, you're trying to get a better place. You're trying to transcend anything. It's like, no, you were down here. Don't forget you were down here, because you're gonna go back and then you're gonna come up. It's cyclical. And it's not a better place. You just have a different vantage. It's seeing the angle, right, of yourself and your relationships. What angle of perception are you at? And where are you at in the relationship? Just because it's down and deep in the ocean doesn't mean they don't have whales and dolphins in there. You know what I mean? Like, I love that. And then once you get up to the heavens, and you got eagles and you got songbirds, like, that's good too. You know, and that's the thing with gratitude. I think, like, when I sing this song, is like, I'm being grateful for all the things that I've been able to see, all the experiences that I've had, no matter how much it hurt or how much pain there was or suffering. I'm grateful, because in that gratitude, I find joy. And it's in that joy that I know my heart is full. I don't have room for anger or for fear. I don't have room, you know, to be distracted upon my path, because I have my gratitude, you know. And it's the art of human making, man. That's culture. It's a constant art of human making. What kind of humans are we making with the culture, you know? Especially the culture of Sacred Sons. Like, it's a great fostering for all these orphans. That's what we're doing. You know, in a time of great forgetting, we're having magnificent remembrances.
And it's not because we're above that. It's not because we're better than that. It's because we needed that. I needed that. And so I am creating the very thing that I needed.
Yes.
Because that's all I know. That's all I really know how to create, because that's been my experience. I love that, because whether we're bringing men through Maui Prime or on your team at a Convergence or EMX, all of these brothers are singing A with you, and they're learning it, and they're taking it home, and they're creating it as a part of their culture within their family, potentially.
Right.
I know so many brothers are singing that song not because Kale taught it to them and told them that they had to.
No.
Kale showed them how deeply this tradition and this practice can impact him. And then we feel that on you, and then we go, oh, what if Kale, can I sing that song too?
Totally. Yes,
you know,
and I love it.
I've learned so many songs from you. It's one of my oh man, it's one of the things I'm so proud of in this last year is all the songs we sang together.
Yeah, brother, me too.
Truly. And so I want to say right here, for the orphans, for the brothers that are out there who are listening, you know, this is culture in its place. Kale's, you know, he's from the Hawaiian Islands, born in Molokai, currently stewarding a beautiful space on Maui, up in the forest of Makawa. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, to come to Maui and to experience these songs, to experience these elements, and then to experience the food, and to eat with our hands, and to eat with our brothers, and to take time to help in the sacrament of preparing that food, like we did recently. I mean, this is beautiful. It's so simple. That's why that's the only thing that makes it beautiful, is because of how simple it is. And I just want to be clear that Sacred Sons is not preaching any type of dogma.
No,
we're just getting closer and closer to these elements and to these ways of being that are truly just about being human. So for me, it's really special. Sincerely. And I'm telling you, like, I'm going to tell you in a sincere way, for me, someone who grew up lacking indigenous culture. You know, my culture was my neighborhood. My culture was my family and Christianity and, you know, Black culture, rock and roll culture, punk rock culture, all
admirable.
Even wrestling, even like wrestling. I was a big fan of WWF wrestling when I was a kid, you know, like that's a part of my culture. And we're doing that shit too. Listen, we're doing that too.
We are.
None of it escapes. It's all a part of what we do. And so I just wanted to say thank you for helping to reconnect me to my own indigeneity. If that's the right way to say that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm also of this earth.
You are.
And maybe I wasn't born in the place that had the specific culture And this
Right.
could go for many cultures, you know,
You
like
can.
whether you belong to a religious, like Jewish culture is very specific.
Uh-huh.
Polynesian culture is very vast and different between these different islands. And so
Exactly.
you came through in this one way, and you are a bridge. And I only know it because I've crossed that bridge many times with
Yes.
you. So thank
Yes,
you.
bro. Absolutely. Thank you, brother. And all praises to our ancestors. May they continue to reveal through us and guide us, you know, in those ways, because that's the real shit. Like, yes, we grew up in a modern society where the indigenous way of knowing ourselves just wasn't intact. It wasn't needed, right? And I say that as needed because what was needed was progress and advancement and expansionism and industrialization and rational, you see? So indigenosity is another word of saying, I am a liberated human. I am a human being that has declared my freedom to have, you don't give me my rights as an indigenous person. I already have them because I was born this way and I am inherent to this earth. So I belong. That to me is indigenous of a place. Like you are of this place. And if right now, if we're in a globalized society and all of this is happening, I'm not saying we all come from everywhere. This is not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying things don't have to be earned, because I'm not saying that either. I'm saying absolutely, you have to earn your place in a culture. You have to earn your right to participate. You do.
Yes.
Yet, we also have to recognize we're not just one thing anymore, and we're not boxed in. We got to think, like, throw the box away. I tell people that all the time. They're like, think outside of the box. I'm like, why the fuck is the box there? Just get rid of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, get rid of the box and let's step into the sphere. Let's step into the constellation of thinking. Let's step into the spider web of thinking. Let's think of it as an expansive ocean. You know, why a box? So
who brought this box in here? Who brought this box? Place?
Yeah. You know what I do with those things? I tear them apart and I light them on fire. So just back to what I'm saying, right? Re-indigenization takes work. It's a labor of love. It is a beautiful burden that you carry. It's a responsibility. All these things are asking for more presence. They're asking for you to share your gifts and your voice. So when we re-indigenize, here's the difference. Decolonization is saying someone else is responsible and they need to do the work. You need to do the work of decolonizing because of what had happened throughout history. We have a word for that, and it's called a colonizer. So you're a colonizer. In order for me to live my life as an indigenous person, you have to get rid of that colonizer part of yourself. I've chosen to go the other way. Do the decolonization work too. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's one route. I'm saying there's a whole nother one to re-indigenize, to find your indigeneity, to be able to move in these ways that help bring you closer to the elements and to these places, that now you're not out there doing the claiming, but you're being claimed by, because you chose to surrender, right? And I talk about this a lot because to me, it's foundational, like passion. Passion, like what are you passionate about? When you have a passion for something, it's because you're willing to suffer for it. Pasio, that's where it comes from, the etymology of the word. It means to have a suffering for this thing to come through, because something of you is going to have to like surrender or be let go of in order for you to pursue your passion. You think Bob Marley like went out unscathed to become the musician that he is or was, you know? He had to give up a lot of things to pursue his passion and to bring to fruition his own soul project. Yeah. It's not determined to me to know if he completed it or not, but you know, he did his due diligence. So re-indigenization is like saying to me, like reconnection, right? Or rediscovery. Re is like a return to, like repeat. But now we have issues with things like resources, finite resources. Just because we understand resource as being something that we can use for our own gain doesn't mean we're on the right track. Source, it's like source knowledge, right? Source radiance. You know, there is a source, but if we keep returning to the source just to take and not leave anything, what kind of indigenous is that? What kind of indigenate? No. there's always a reciprocity. There must be a give and receive. There must be a take and leave. There is a taker culture and there is a leaver culture. There is a gift giving culture, and then there's one that talks about marketplace and commodification. You see?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like the re-indigenizing comes through language, even body language. Like when I talk and I use my body, they're gestures. Like people are caught up on mudras. Well, you ever seen this? Like it's a smudge and tobacco. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you got it, then you know the signs, and then now you know who's speaking through the indigenous way by their language. And so it's an intimacy with elements that needs to be returned to. So if we're going to remembering ourselves to cultivate wholeness, re-indigenizing is just as important.
Yeah, there's something important here for me to just say. It doesn't mean you have to give up whatever your dominant culture was,
right,
to re-indigenize.
Exactly.
This is actually, for me, this is going layers deeper, because these are not concepts created by man.
No,
these are truths that reveal themselves to us over and over again throughout time. They're timeless. They're priceless.
Yes.
You know, like, and then the other piece I want to say is, so what I've come to in just this conversation is the ancient future is always in the present. Because, you know, for those of us that have those visions of the future, they remain rooted in the present and they are informed by the past. Okay. So the ancient future is a place, space and time, and it's always in the present. How do you feel about that?
I love it. That's what's up, because that is that, and that's how it's expressed through you, right? And that expression is a conspiring with mine. Now we're a collaborative duality consciousness. It's not like mine's against yours. It's like, I need your ears to hear. Yeah. I need your voice to speak. I need your eyes to see. Are you seeing what's up out there? And you're like, yes, got it. This is what it is. And I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm going to do that too, because the dominant culture is insisting upon our separation and what's that called? Conflict. They're asking for our obedience.
Right.
They're like, you better obey or we'll take things away from you. Right. So that's what the dominant culture does. And I'm not just talking about governmental. I'm saying dominant culture. It's like sometimes parenting with children, I see that too. Punishment and reward. If you don't obey me, these are the consequences, or the punishments, I should say. So this is where I'm at with the culture, the emergent culture of awakening and the ancient future. Like you said, it's rooted in the present, informed by the past. So if we are actually embodying that and living that, then we know that there is respect that needs to be given and due. Yes, I grew up with a TV and video games and all of that stuff, but it's not running my life. But trust me, now that I'm at this place in my life of this deeper understanding of relationships and like obeisance. Obeisance is a beautiful word. It means like respectful submission, like to bow your head. You know, there's obedience, which says succumb to, you know, like dutifully, where obeisance is like you're in service to something. And so you bow your head to that, you bend your knee, you know, in respect and in honoring. It doesn't mean you're subordinate. It's just you've surrendered. So now when I play video games, I'm like, how is this enhancing my life? Well, I get to play Halo with my brothers. That's great. We all start to connect, and we're like, this is what we would do for each other if it really mattered. Like the way you fight is being revealed to me in this video game. And then I could play like Valhalla or something. And then I'm receiving messages from the game. Whether these developers or whatever knew it or not, I chose to be with it that way.
Because that's your intention. I mean, I've never heard of someone approaching a fighting video game with so much intention as to like reveal aspects of themselves and their brothers. But let me come out of the video game, because we fight in real life, son.
That's what I'm saying, and that's the beauty.
We fight in real life, and we've incorporated combat into men's work because it's needed, because it's also ancient,
so
part of our culture. And so ritual combat. This is something that was co-developed because of your presence in Sacred Sons.
Yeah,
Trevor brought through Wild and Wise, which is based in grappling and wrestling, and also the archetypes. But now we have sacred combat. And it's just like Fight Club, except it's sacred.
It's sacred, bro.
Tell me from your perspective, what does sacred combat mean to you as someone who's you're a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm just going to rattle off some things I think I know. Is that purple belt correct? No? What do you got?
Blue. Let's go blue.
Okay, we got a blue belt.
Don't hype me up like this, bro. Don't hype me up like this. You're gonna have all these bros coming after me, dog. You're essentially putting up a billboard with my name on it, like, come fight this guy.
Come fight this dude. But no, listen, you roll jiu-jitsu, you do some striking. Yeah. You this has been a part of your upbringing. And also dance, hula. This is all physical embodiment. So now that we have manifested this back into reality in a place of no time and space, we're on a beach with fire lit in the sun setting, and we're having sacred ritual combat. Brothers are coming to the center and meeting themselves within another. What does that experience mean to you? And what kind of light do you have to shed on it?
Oh man. First of all, it's amazing. It's beautiful because yes, I have been in training. I have been to the gyms and to the academies, and I've learned, and I'm not somebody who has mastered any of it, but I am, a martial artist, emphasis on the artist, and so when I see what we're doing with Sacred Sons and bringing these men into ritual combat, these brothers are awakening to themselves. Yeah. Because they are getting hit in the face. You know what I mean? It's like the most simple medicine. It's like they took a punch to the face willingly and was like, that hurt. My head is clear. Everything I thought I was going to do in here that I thought mattered doesn't matter anymore. Everything that I cared about that was like preventing me from wanting to be in here, that just got real quiet, real quick, real fast. Why? Because another brother sent a fist at your face with an intention of helping you, with the intention of like really saying that if I don't show up for him like this, what kind of a man am I? If I can't actually give him my whole self right now, then what are we doing together? Is this real brotherhood or is it not? It comes to call. It's like elders. They call still water to rise. Men, we have to call onto each other. Man sharpens man, right? How did we do that? It wasn't up to us. We didn't make up the rules. They said, this is what it's like for you. You must find brotherhood and be in that. So when we're fighting, it's a deeper understanding of like the way you fight is the way you dance, is the way you fuck. Like it's not that they're interchangeable, but it's true. The archetypes of lover, warrior, magician, sovereign, like those things exist as well. Yet the participation with this on the outside for a lot of people looks just like savagery. Why? Why is it savagery? What is it about you that is interpreting this as savagery? To me, that sounds like colonizer. That says, oh, this reminds me of a primal nature that I am far too civilized for. So because I don't participate with it, because I have my own judgments, therefore it's not good enough. So I will eradicate it and only put it into situations that I deem are appropriate. That's a colonizer mindset. However, the indigenous way of seeing this is, I have a prayer for my brother so that he can be all that he needs to be at this very moment. Bring on his health, bring on his strength, bring on his determination, no fear, so that when he comes into this realm with me, I'll get the best of him. That maybe he couldn't even show to his own beloved. Maybe he couldn't show to his own father, the people that raised him. Maybe he couldn't even show to his own son, but he's going to do it with me. And that's not savagery. That's poetry. Yeah. That's a deep meaning of love. That I'm willing to take a hit to get hit by you, even though I know I could send out something to you and really hurt you. That's not my intention. My intention is for you to be in this space with me so that we can be together, so that you know that whatever was happening between us can be translated, transmuted, alchemized for the benefit of your loved ones. you take it back home. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
To me. So ritual combat is amazing because we get these brothers who are so intimidated by this because they were never taught to have a sovereign understanding and autonomy of themselves, to stand their ground.
Yeah.
And fight for something,
But at the same time, there's some brothers who may be timid to step in, but at the same time, there's also brothers who know they're sitting on some stuff.
Yes.
Who know they haven't expressed themselves physically, who know that haven't been met by the capacity of which they feel they have in their bodies. It's very important for men to be met so that they don't have that energy come out sideways and put it on those they love or those they want to dominate.
How exactly?
Because that's not what we're doing here. We're kind of breaking all that apart, and this is not new. Although it's ancient future,
it's a new old way.
We're bringing it back. It's a new old way. And honestly, I don't think you can really fully embrace the fullness of the experience and the poetry until you step in.
Until you're there. Yeah.
And this is a call in. I just want to call in those brothers.
Yeah, me too.
We also do in Maui.
Yes.
We have we have a ritual around it. In that way, it's not just like Fight Club. We're not just throwing in there to get it all beat up. It's not like that.
No.
There's another element that exists within it that cannot be named. It just is.
It just is.
It just is, and we all know it. And that is again like it's a sliver. It's a slice of the truth.
Yeah.
In there.
It's another form of re-indigenization. Not a form, but it's another attachment, right? Another cord to re-indigenization. And like you said, you have to experience it. We could conceptualize it all day long, but it's not going to serve anything until you actually get in there. And it's really important too that it's not about proving anything. It's not a competition when it's with us. Yeah. It's medicine work. Okay, it's medicine. Like it's something that can only be given because of your willingness to bow your head and bend your knee to it. Like it's beautiful. And when the guys are in there, bro, I'm so stoked.
Me too.
I was like some of the happiest times like out there because I know like they're all receiving what they need. And I rather witness them. It's like when that one brother, he went in and he got hit, over and over, but he didn't stop. He kept going. And then at the end, he's just crying and he gets on the mic. He's like, I needed this.
Yeah.
Like I needed this so much. Like I did. And he's just like, kind of makes me tear up right now just thinking about him. But we just celebrated that, bro.
Yeah.
When we just lifted him up and we're like, thank you for your tears, man. Like, thank you for stepping in. And there's that too.
That moment was so beautiful at Convergence that you're speaking to, because the brother who got celebrated the most was the one who got knocked down and let out some emotion.
Yes, exactly.
And we celebrated him.
Yeah, bro.
Like what a script flip. Because in the moment, there's also 300 men around who are all going, damn, what would it be like to get in there and get knocked out in front of everybody? Because that's a real fear.
It is.
That anyone would have stepping in there. Even Mike Tyson. Like, listen, everybody goes in, they all have fear. It's not saying we're fearless. It's saying that we're willing to step through the fear in a ceremony of combat to be met by my brother.
Yes.
This is powerful, man, because out there in the Western culture, it's just like, man, people are just talking shit on the internet and making investments.
They are.
It's not relational.
It's not at all.
We're losing the humanity from this strengthening.
Exactly, brother. We're losing it because it's not relational. It's not connected. It becomes transactional and currency. Yeah. And then if you look at our society too, and then just one more thing, to mention is we outsource our wars, our pain, and our violence. We're outsourcing it. And if we're not outsourcing it, we're committing it behind closed doors, right? When you look at environmental extortion, environmental extraction, like that is a form of violence against the earth. And we told ourselves it's okay, in this society. And then those very same people making these decisions, I'm wondering how often are they tapping into their warrior? How often are they getting hit in the face?
Never.
When's
the last time Bill Gates got punched in the face?
That's what I'm saying, brother.
Like, you know how good that would be for the planet for that dude to get punched in the face?
So good.
And not like we want to hurt him.
No, that's not what it's about. It's just like, wake up, brother. Like, look at these decisions that are happening. Like, I've got all the concern for you. I don't know what you've been up to, but you obviously have not been participating in the re-indigenization of yourself.
No doubt.
So,
and it's so easy to point the finger. It's so easy to judge the quote unquote elites of our society.
Yeah.
But I want to bring it back to us as individuals, because this is what we are doing.
Truly.
For me, there's no more question of like, how can I show up? It's like, I know exactly how I can show up.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that. And I'm so passionate about this that I wake up every day, like excited to get into it, to think about it, to create, to cultivate. And that is a beautiful place to be. And,
yes, bro.
And I feel that within you as well, in the ways that you bring through. Just want to say, we got a couple of events coming up.
Yeah.
March 9th through 13th.
Yes.
We have Maui Mana.
Yeah.
Led by our brother Kale. This is the first time we're doing this.
Yeah.
What can a brother expect being brought in to Maui Mana?
It's a deep honor, to come into the space now with Sacred Sons and offer Maui Mana. So maybe I could just speak to the word of mana. So mana is in one way could be translated as like the life force, the spirit that moves in all things could be called mana. It's something that you can cultivate for yourself too when you build up mana, like everything we've been talking about, like with embodiment. If I'm out here training with a prayer on my heart, that is mana. That's mana full. But then mana also can mean like a food, like something like a parent chews up food before they give to the baby. That's also mana. So I don't know what you call that. And it's also like with kava.
Like sustenance.
Yeah, like sustenance. So when you do that, it's like you're passing on to the child your mana, that food. Yeah, same thing with like kava. In the old days, they would chew it and then put it into the water. So you're taking on the mana of the person that's feeding you. And sometimes, babies, they need the food to be chewed up a little bit before you give it to them because they're just not ready. They don't have the teeth yet. That's Maui Mana, bro. It's like, come be a part of this, but don't think that you know it yet. Just have this relationship and let us hear your brothers that are guiding you through this. Let us get the food prepared for you. And it's a deep lived poetry and song that happens when you come to Maui Mana. We'll be exploring the elements, and then we'll also be exploring ourselves and our placement in the bigger story. And when you hear chants and songs, those things become a part of your lived experience at Maui Mana. You will cultivate your life force with us. You will train. You will also know how to pray and prepare food, for your brother. We all put it in the pot. You don't even know which one's yours. And then we'll also be revolutionizing the understanding of what the men's work is. That's what Maui Mana is meant to do. It's a hub for these brothers that feel the call to come and be a part of this continuation of the evolution and the revolution of our work to bring us back home again. So yeah, it's poetic and it's mythical and it's story and it's song. These are things that I love. Yeah. This is what I care about most, is to continue the songs of our ancestors into where we are. And if I share that in this way, I know exactly who I'm grateful for, my brothers, for committing to me too, to help me get to where I needed to be for our people. And our people, I don't mean any specific people, I mean our people. Yeah. Like they get it, we know it. And this is a call out for that too. Maui Mana, Maui is the navigator. Maui of the island is because the navigator, who is known throughout Polynesia, he also was a trickster. And you know what the tricksters do? They look at the society and the norms and they question and they flip it on its head and they say, oh, what do you all do now? What really matters? You have to shake it up. And then in there's the flecks of gold, but you got to pan for it. But there has to be a chaos. There has to be a disturbance. And Maui Mana is it. Like, it's like, we're not here to be comfortable. You know, we're not here to be convenienced. You know, we're not here. That's all child stuff. That's children do that. You know?
Yeah, Maui Mana, it is that return home.
Yes.
It is that pattern interrupt. Mm-hmm. It is that primal reset.
Yes.
You know, it's all of those things. And I know the men who are part of our brotherhood understand that and what it means to come home, because, you know, to no fault of anyone, but some of these brothers, they're grinding and they're providing and they're doing the things, and we all need that space of rest, not only for our mental health, but for our spiritual health as well. Yeah. It's just to encompass all of the wellness that is accessible to us. And for that, you know, you need something that is not of the norm.
Totally.
All right, bro. Before we roll out of here, is there anything that you would like to leave with the brothers and sisters who may be listening?
Yeah.
Any piece of wisdom that is present with you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think what's really present for me right now is this understanding of masculinity, right, and femininity, and this dual nature that is complementary and in collaboration, conspiring together. I know at times, just taking responsibility for myself, I can show up in the world aggressively, and I'm not apologizing for it. I'm just saying I know, and it's a form of masculinity that I've chosen to carry. But there's a deep love that comes from that, and it's not just wanting to be hostile or confrontational or wanting to have people be subdued. It's just that I have a passion for life, and I'm so committed to my purpose that sometimes I can see it's almost shocking and disruptive to some people to witness something like that, because they're afraid of it for themselves. Like we're almost, and this is just my own projection, that people are more afraid of their own power than they are of someone else's, because it awakens in them. And so my balance with the feminine is I have a softness too, like my last name. My last name is Ka'alekahi. Ka, the projection into time and space, and Ale is like the billowing of a cloud or the rising of a wave. And Kahi means one. So it can mean like a navigator name, watching patterns come through. First wave, second wave, third wave, first cloud, second cloud, third cloud. But it also means like an upwelling, right? Ka'ale, an upwelling, like tears in the eyes, an upwelling of tears. Kahi, the first. My name means first to cry, because I am grief-stricken. And I love that about me, because I can tap into that part of myself that will bow his head and bend his knee to the presence of another that I feel bonded to, connected to, love and loving. And that's just what I hope people to understand for themselves too. It's a little prayer for you. May you be that as well. May you understand your light and your dark. You know, participate with the shadow. Know that it's there. Come in softly, but also come in like a thunder sound. Roar too. You only have so much time left. May we all have been sparks on this earth, that we had our fair share. That we left something behind too. Something a little generous. Maybe a little something more than what we were given, but not in the ways that we think we need to do it, but how they ask for it. They're asking for us. It's time to answer the call. But thank you. It's an honor.
It's time to answer the call. With that, Kale Ka'alekahi, the Khan of Khans. The first to cry.
First to cry. Yeah.
I'll be seeing you out there in March and April. With
good.
that, Kale, Adam Jackson, Sacred Sons. We're out, family. Peace.
Aloha.